You're not wearing that cologne for work, right? I asked, arms crossed, watching Garrett fix his tie in the mirror. He didn't turn around. What are you talking about? That one, it's the one you used to wear when we went out. You haven't touched it in months. It's just cologne, Celeste. He chuckled, shallow and mechanical. I figured I'd use it up. I leaned against the doorframe. Huh. He finally looked at me through the mirror. The smile he gave MIT didn't reach his eyes. It was just ... there, like he'd practiced it in the car. I'll be late tonight, he added, grabbing his phone and slipping it into his coat pocket. Work again. Yeah, big presentation. Unhung, I repeated. He kissed my cheek quick, distracted, and left without a word to the kids. No goodbye. No, have a good day. Just the sound of the front door shutting. I stood there, frozen, until I heard the garage door groan open. I stared at the bed we hadn't shared properly in weeks, maybe months. I couldn't even remember the last time. He held me without it feeling like a chore. Downstairs, one of the kids was yelling about cereal, and the other was crying over mismatched socks. Same morning, different ache. That night he didn't come home until almost midnight. I was on the couch, half watching some drama I couldn't follow. He walked in, loosened his tie, and said, "Still awake?" Ham. I muted the TV. "How was your big presentation? Long, exhausting. You wouldn't believe the revisions the client made, right? Clients always need revisions, even at ... What was it? 11:30. He blinked, then shrugged. It ran. Leda got up and headed to the kitchen, letting silence fill the gap between us. I poured a glass of water, gripping it so tight the rim trembled. Garrett, yeah, you're cheating on me, aren't you? He paused in the hallway. What? You heard me. His laugh was too loud, too fake. Jesus, Celeste, are you serious right now? I nodded slowly. I'm very serious, because I'm tired, because I work late. No, because you don't look at me. Because your phone's always face down. Because I saw the way you smiled this morning, it didn't mean anything. He ran a hand through his hair. This is ridiculous. Is it? He didn't answer. He just went upstairs like I'd accused him of forgetting to take the trash out, not breaking our marriage in half. I stood there a long time, glass still full in my hand. The next morning, after dropping the kids at school, I sat on the edge of our bed, with his phone in my hand. I hadn't meant to pick it up. It was just there. Unlocked, curiosity, desperation. Either way, it was unlocked. I tapped on messages. No one named Emma or Babe, just initials, K, J, and S. I opened K. Last night was perfect. You smelled amazing. Wish we didn't have to sneak around. My thumb trembled as I scrolled. Your wife suspects anything. She's clueless. I'll call you after dinner. I dropped the phone on the bed like it had burned me. My hands were ice-hot, clueless. That's what he thought of me, Mom. A voice called downstairs. I spilled juice. I blinked fast. I shoved the phone back under the pillow. I went down to clean it. That night I didn't ask him anything. I cooked dinner. Smiled through gritted teeth. Watched him eat spaghetti like the world hadn't just shattered under my feet. Good dinner, he said, chewing. Thanks. My voice was too even. He didn't notice. He never noticed. When he got up for seconds, I looked at him, really looked, and realized I didn't love him anymore. I loved who I thought he was. I loved the man from 5 years ago. The man who used to pull me close in the middle of the night and whisper nonsense until I laughed. Not this version. Not this hollow, smirking ghost who thought I was stupid. That night when he fell asleep on the couch, snoring softly, I crept upstairs. I took his phone again, this time. I took screenshots, evidence, proof, because if I was going to lose everything, I'd go down knowing the truth. And maybe, just maybe, I'd make him bleed first. Did you finish the laundry? I asked, folding a shirt, watching Garrett's eyes dart away. He shrugged, tapping furiously on his laptop. Yeah, I think so. You think? He didn't look up. What difference does it make? It makes a difference to me. He exhaled, snapping the laptop shut the moment I stepped closer. What's going on with you? I forced the words out like a knife. He avoided me always like I was a ghost. Nothing, just tired. Tired. You sleep less than 5 hours. You leave before the kids wake up and come back after dinner. He didn't answer. I started writing it down, every lie, every avoidance. Last night, that text replayed in my head. Last night was perfect. I whispered it to myself. Bitter? Who was she? What was perfect about last night? My phone buzzed. Sarah, talk, I typed back. Please. At the cafe, Sarah looked at me like I was a stranger. You look exhausted. What's happening? I laughed, but it was hollow. He's somewhere else. Did you talk to him? No. I shook my head. I can't. Not yet. Sarah grabbed my hand. Celeste, you're disappearing. You need to say something. I'm pretending. For the kids? For me? Pretending? What? That I'm fine. That I don't notice. But I'm screaming inside. She squeezed my hand. You deserve better. Later, I caught Garrett glancing at his phone, eyes flickering with guilt. Who's that? Just work. Work that gets texts at midnight. He looked away. I whispered, who is she? He snapped, stop it, Celeste. You're paranoid. I asked, voice breaking. I found the texts, the photos. He swallowed hard, silence thick between us. I kept a journal, dates, times, lies. My obsession grew where love used to live. Why didn't you tell me? I asked myself in the mirror, tracing my tired eyes. I wasn't ready to fight. Not yet. So I watched him, the way he laughed too loudly, how he ignored my questions, the way he didn't want to be seen with me. One night Sarah said, you can't carry this alone. I'm scared, I whispered. You're stronger than you think. The house felt empty, even when full. I was a ghost in my own home, but this ghost was gathering fire. Happy anniversary, I said softly, holding out the small box. He blinked. Oh, right. He glanced at the calendar on his phone. Forgot again, he swallowed. I've been busy. Busy enough to forget the day we promised forever. He rubbed the back of his neck. I'm sorry, sorry's not enough. He didn't say anything else. That morning, he left for work, dressed sharp, shirt ironed, cologne on. I hadn't smelled that scent in years. Where are you going after work? I asked. Just a meeting, he said quickly. Dinner? No, gotta catch up on reports. I didn't believe him. I followed. The cafe was tucked away, empty, quiet. He walked in smiling, but not at me. Emma was there, young, laughing, leaning into him like he was the only thing she cared about. Their smiles were warm, alive. I sat in my car, hands clenched on the wheel. Why does she get that smile? Why don't I stayed there, watching him be someone else's man. My chest burned. But I didn't cry, not this time. I whispered to myself, I'm done pretending. I wasn't the quiet, loyal wife anymore. I was a storm waiting to break free, and this time, I'd be the one holding the power. Garrett, we need to talk. I stood in the doorway, arms crossed. He looked up from his book, eyes tired but calm. About what, Emma? He sighed, setting the book down. Again with this. I'm serious. I saw the texts, the pictures. He ran a hand through his hair. She's just a friend, going through a breakup. A friend who sends you I miss you texts. That's how friends talk. I narrowed my eyes. You're lying. No, I'm not. He stood, stepping closer. You're being paranoid. I'm not crazy, Garrett. I saw everything. He shook his head, voice softening. I don't know what you want from me. I want the truth. He hesitated. Fine, we're just friends. Friends don't meet in cafes for coffee at midnight. He glanced away. You're twisting this. I'm not. He walked to the kitchen, grabbing a glass. Maybe you're imagining things. No, I held his gaze. You're gaslighting me, he frowned. I'm just trying to keep the peace. That peace is a lie. Later I called Sarah. He's denying everything. You have to leave. I'm not ready, Celeste. You can't live like this. I want him to feel the pain. First, you're sinking deeper. I know. I found someone, Dr. Warren, therapist. I paused. A therapist, yeah, helps to talk. I don't know. You don't have to decide now. That night, Garrett smiled at me and strained. I want to believe you, I whispered. He kissed my forehead. You don't have to. Days passed with whispered lies, hidden glances. I kept digging screenshots, dates, excuses. Every lie hardened me. I wasn't breaking. I was building walls. Walls around the hurt, the rage, the betrayal. And I was ready to use them. One day I told Dr. Warren, he makes me question my reality. She nodded. That's It's exhausting, but you're not alone. That gave me hope. Not for him. For me. I was no longer invisible. I was fighting, and the fight had just begun. Good morning, darling, I said, slipping my arms around Garrett's neck, smiling. Sweet and soft, he stiffened. Morning, I kissed his cheek. Coffee, he shrugged. Sure. I wanted him relaxed, careless. Later I caught his eye. You're tense lately. Work's been a nightmare. Maybe you need a break, I whispered, brushing his hair back. He didn't say anything, just nodded. I was playing a role, loving wife, seductive enough to make him forget I was watching. I started sending anonymous messages to Emma's phone. Simple stuff. You're not who he thinks you are. A blurry photo of her leaving the cafe late at night. I planted rumors through the neighborhood grapevine, making sure Mrs. Green would hear and spread them. One afternoon Mrs. Green knocked on my door, whispering I saw Garrett with that woman again. He looked worried. I smiled and said, Thank you, Mrs. Green, I appreciate it. Inside I was thrilled. Garrett started looking over his shoulder, eyes darting nervously. One night he asked, Did Emma call you? No, I lied. Why? Because she's acting strange, avoiding me. I bit my lip. Maybe she's scared. He looked lost. That was the point. I wasn't proud of the games, but I didn't care. He needed to feel unsafe. I wanted him exposed. At therapy, Dr. Warren asked, How do you feel? Powerful, I admitted. She raised an eyebrow. That's an interesting emotion. It's the first time in years. I kept spinning my narrative, half-truths about my own pain. She listened, never judging. Garrett was unraveling, and I was watching the threads fall apart. One evening, he confronted me, voice shaky. Are you doing something? Just trying to save us, I said, eyes steady. You're lying, maybe. He stormed out. I whispered to the empty room. Good. The house finally felt like mine again. No more ghosts. No more silence. Just me and my carefully crafted revenge. You're working late again, right? Garrett nodded, barely looking up from his phone. Yeah. Big meeting. I forced a smile. Okay. As soon as he left, I packed a small bag. Just clothes, a toothbrush, my journal. Nothing heavy. I didn't say goodbye to the kids. Didn't want them to make me feel guilty before I'd even started. At the hotel, I locked the door behind me and collapsed onto the bed. The silence hit like a wave. My phone buzzed. A message from Garrett. Everything okay? I stared at it. My thumb hovered over the screen, but I didn't reply. The silence was louder than any scream. The next morning the kids called. Mom, where are you, Mom? I swallowed. I missed them already, but I had to stay strong. No calls from Garrett. No frantic texts. Nothing. 2 nights passed. I wrote everything down in my journal. How you never asked where I was. How I felt invisible. How I screamed without making a sound. The words piled up, but the courage to say them didn't. When I finally came home, the house was quiet. Garrett sat on the couch, eyes fixed on the TV. I said nothing. He didn't ask where I'd been, not once. I wanted to scream, but all I could do was sit beside him and feel myself disappear again that night. I realized I wasn't just invisible. I was gone, and no one even noticed. The day it all blew up, I wasn't even home. Garrett's phone buzzed nonstop. I could hear the vibration through the wall. Who is it? Maya asked, eyes wide, clutching her phone like a lifeline. Just work, Garrett said too fast, but the truth hit like a wrecking ball. Emma's boyfriend found out. He sent Garrett a message. Not just a message, an announcement. Right in Garrett's company group chat. Hey Garrett, thanks for sneaking around. Everyone knows now. The text exploded across screens. Emails flew. Calls. HR got involved. Garrett's face when he showed up that night, it was pale. Defeated. Celeste, he begged, voice cracking. I'm lost. I made a mistake. Lost, I echoed. You don't get to lose me, and then act like you don't know where you are. He dropped to his knees. Please don't leave. I stood, arms crossed. I'll think about it. Maya watched from the stairs, tears streaming down her cheeks. Mom. I knelt beside her, pulling her close. It's okay to be sad, she sniffled. Why did he do this? I don't know, baby. I don't want you to leave. I'm not leaving you, I promised. Later, Garrett tried calling, texting, pleading. I didn't respond. This was my moment, my terms. I gathered the kids were going to talk. I explained the truth, stripped bare but gentle. Maya sobbed. She said, I thought we were a family. We still are, I whispered. But families change. I saw the pain in their eyes. But I also saw hope. Hope that I was choosing myself. Choosing them. Choosing honesty that night. Garrett sat silently watching me pack. Please, he said. For the kids. I looked at him and said, they need a mother who's whole. Karma had arrived, and I was finally free. The divorce papers hit the kitchen table like a thunderclap. You need to sign these, Garrett said, voice flat. I stared at the stack of paper. Is this really it? He shrugged, avoiding my gaze. The silence that followed was worse than any fight that night. I sat on the edge of our empty bed, his side cold, untouched. I whispered, I died with my wedding ring on. I cried until I had no tears left. The house felt like a tomb. One morning, I screamed, smashed a glass against the wall. Sarah came over the next day. You're still here, she said softly. I don't know who I am without him, I admitted. Then, find out. I enrolled in night classes. Met people who didn't know my story for the first time. I felt invisible and free. I started journaling online, wrote about pain, healing, loneliness. One post caught fire, comments poured in, thank you. For speaking my truth, I'm not alone. You gave me hope. Women I'd never met sent messages. They saw me. Really saw me. It didn't fill the hole inside, but it reminded me I still existed. One day Maya called. I'm proud of you, Mom. Her words held me together. I still wore my wedding ring on. A chain around my neck, a scar and a symbol. Every day, piece by piece, I rebuilt. I wasn't just a wife or a mother. I was me, broken, bruised, but alive. The knock startled me. I wasn't expecting Garrett. I opened the door. He looked older, worn out. His eyes empty. Celeste, he said, voice hesitant. What do you want? He shifted. I'm not here to ask for forgiveness. Good. He cleared his throat. I wanted to introduce you to someone, my fiancé. I smiled, though inside I was screaming. She stood behind him, young, bright, smiling like she owned everything. We want to be friends, Garrett said. Co-parenting, you know. I nodded. That's mature. He glanced away. I'm glad you're happy, I said softly. He didn't answer. Inside. A storm raged, not because I wanted him back, because he never understood. Never understood. The damage he caused. Never understood me, I asked. Do you think about what you did about us? His face tightened. No, that was my closure. Not a fight, not forgiveness, just acceptance. We have to move on, I said. He nodded slowly. Goodbye, Garrett. He hesitated, then left. I closed the door. The silence was mine again. Peace. Finally, you've been quiet today, Maya said over the phone. I smiled, rubbing the chain around my neck, the old wedding ring resting against my skin. I'm just thinking, I replied. About what? About how much I've changed. Good change. I think so. I live in a small coastal town now. Work at the library. Sounds peaceful. It is. I write for a support group too. Helps me connect. You sound happy. Happy enough. Healing isn't about everyone coming back. You know I miss you. I miss you too, Maya. The other kids. Not so much. I've made peace with that. Sometimes healing means living with echoes of who you were. Like this ring. I wear it on a chain now, a reminder. A scar. Proof I survived some days. I still feel the weight of it. Other days it feels lighter. Like, I'm finally free. Sarah calls sometimes. We're proud of you, she says. I tell her, it's been a journey. Worth it. Every painful step. I sip my coffee by the ocean. Breathe in, salty air. Watch waves crash. This is my peace, my growth, my bittersweet independence. Sometimes I think about Garrett, but only briefly now. I'm just me, broken, but whole, and finally at peace.